What's up, everybody? It's Derek Anderson, the DA, here with the random rant. And yeah, this one's about the Obi-Wan series. So I was just chopping up with a friend of mine, and we were just talking about, the series. He's a big Star Wars fan too. We were talking about they're bringing everybody back, right? Ewan McGregor is coming back. We got Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. Joel Edgerton's coming back as Uncle Owen, and I'm sure Amber Rue is going to be in this thing too. I haven't seen her in the trailers. Even John Williams is coming back to do a little bit of the score. So yeah, it's like the gang's all back, but there's one name that we haven't heard yet, and I'm starting to get a little concerned, and it's because of this guy right here, good old James Earl Jones, who is the voice of Darth Vader. And yeah, I hadn't heard anything about him. No news, no nothing. So I started scouring the internet, as we are wont to do in this day and age, to see if I could find some information. And this is what I found from Screen Rant. Is James Earl Jones voicing Vader on Obi-Wan? No one will say. So this article is pretty much locked up right there in the headline. There's not much more to it. But I was reading through it. You know how it is with Screen Rant. If you get a Screen Rant article, you got to go about 4 or 5 paragraphs down before you finally get to the meat. But basically, this is where it's at right here. It's a quote from this guy named Harold, I believe as he was a writer. Yeah, writer Joby Harold, in on this thing. And he says, it was important to have Hayden be a part of the project because he's such a massive part of that character. And I'm going to say James Earl Jones is the biggest part of Darth Vader that has ever existed. The man is the voice. Anybody could literally, I'm not saying that to denigrate any of the actors or any of the people that have played Darth Vader's physical form in films, but anybody could put on a black helmet and a suit. You see this picture in there? That could be me in there and y'all wouldn't know anything about it, okay? James Earl Jones is Darth Vader, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, you see it right here in this little quote. As to whether the 91-year-old James Earl Jones will once again be voicing the character, no one will say. And it got me thinking, okay, he is 91, right? That's, he's not a young guy no more. And I was remembering back to Rogue One, okay? That's the last movie that he did the voice of Vader in. And I started thinking, how did he sound in that? And yeah, let's actually just check that out real quick. I'm gonna pull up a clip.
Director Krennic. Lord Vader. You seem unsettled. You do have a great many things to explain. Its power to create problems has certainly been confirmed. A city destroyed. An Imperial facility openly attacked. You were not summoned here to grovel, Director Krennic.
No,
There is no Death Star. The Senate has been informed that Jeddah was destroyed in a mining disaster.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you not to rest until you can assure the Emperor that Galen Erso has not compromised this weapon in any way.
Yeah, so that was James Earl Jones from 6 years ago, and you can kind of hear, not that it's bad, it sounded pretty good, but you can kind of hear it's not quite as crisp as it used to sound. And yeah, now he's 6 years later after that voice, and he hasn't done a ton of work. I was checking on some of his highlights, and he did do Coming to America, the sequel, last year, but he was only in it for a couple of seconds. Most of that last bit of strong work he did was kind of between 2010 to 2015, and not a whole lot since then. So yeah, maybe he's not going to be in it. Now the question becomes, if James Earl Jones isn't the voice of Vader, who is? So I know that the guy that I would probably select as the person to do the voice of Vader would be this gentleman right here, Scott Lawrence. You can see that he is also known as being a major audio double for James Earl Jones, voicing Darth Vader in the Star Wars video game since 1995. Yeah, I remember seeing him at Celebration a couple of years ago, and yeah, he sounds a lot, very strong, powerful voice. You can definitely hear that he could possibly pull that off. Of course, he did it in video games, and so yeah, if there was anybody that's going to do it, it's probably going to be this guy. But we'll have to see. Hopefully, praying that James Earl Jones has one more go in him. It would be awesome just if he can pull it off. But, you know, again, just based on the fact that nobody's really talking about it and nobody really has anything to say, yeah, it kind of makes me think that he's not going to be the voice of Darth Vader in this particular series. So, yeah, let's just keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we see James Earl Jones back in it. But that's it for me. I want to thank you for watching. And yeah, if you haven't done so, click the subscribe link so you can get all of my videos the moment they drop. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.